What's going on, Bulls fans? And I'm not too sure about this color combination today. It reminds me, you remember when the Bulls had those green jerseys where they're like St. Patrick's Day jerseys? Like the green and the red combination is giving me those vibes. Not too sure if I'm happy with this, but nonetheless, you are in Chicago Bulls Central, the number one place for all things Chicago Bulls related. And today we'll be previewing the Bulls game against the Orlando Magic, as well as them rising up in the ESPN Power Rankings. We'll talk about all that and some more right after this. All right, so the first thing that I want to talk about is the Bulls after the undefeated week that they had last week, and the 7-game winning streak. I know a lot of you guys in the comments have been talking about the power rankings. I don't really focus on that too much because I know like everything that goes into the power rankings as far as like it's all about storylines and things like that more so than it is just about the pure basketball that's played. But for the people that do pay attention to that and that wanted to see the Bulls higher up, they have risen from 6 in the ESPN Power Rankings to number 3 because of their efforts last week. And so hats off to the Bulls there. Hats off to ESPN for recognizing it. But at the end of the day, it doesn't even matter. We know how good our Bulls are. Let them keep doubting if they want to. Fuck them. But nonetheless, outside of that, we also got some positive news. Lonzo Ball is no longer listed on the injury report, so he will be playing tonight against the Orlando Magic, which will be important to just, again, the Orlando Magic are a tougher team than some people give them credit for, but they are coming off of they're currently in a 5-game losing stretch. On top of that, right, the Orlando Magic also, they're going to be missing a lot of players. Cole Anthony's out amongst other players, so this again, I never want to pencil in easy wins for the Bulls, right? And they should be. It's because still you never know. You catch any team slipping. This is the NBA. We know that any team can beat any other team really on any other night, just depending on how things go and if they just catch a team slipping. So the Bulls need to come in focused. As long as they do that, as long as they execute, the Bulls shouldn't have any problem here in Orlando. We know we got Washington coming up after that, then Dallas coming up to end the week as well. So the Bulls need to be focused. They need to be locked in. Also, this is a good game, right? To get Lonzo Ball, if there is anything going on there, to get him kind of back in rhythm. I really don't expect any of that. Just looking over the course of the league and the Bulls specifically, most of the times players who come back from health and safety protocols have come back, gotten back in the rhythm pretty easily. So I don't really expect any issues there. But even with that said, if there is, it's always good to have a game that you can you have a lot of space between, right? So you can get your legs back under you if you need it, get back in rhythm, everything like that. I want to see a big game from Lonzo Ball on the defensive end, as well as stealing and just, assist and doing the things that he do as well as shooting. Not necessarily a huge night scoring because that's not usually his role on the team, but if we get it, not going to be mad at it. But the Bulls look to continue their 7-game winning streak tonight against the Orlando Magic. I will have a halftime hangout and an after show live stream after the game as well. So be tuned in. Turn on that bell notification so you get notified when we go live. We have a great time in our live streams. But outside of that, so as much as we're getting Lonzo Ball back, also listed on the injury report, we still have Tony Bradley out. Alex Caruso is going to be out. Tyler Cook's also listed out. Marco's listed out as well. So with the lack of size that we're going to have, right? Especially when you talk about a player like Wendell Carter coming in, we already know, I always expect Wendell Carter to try to go off against us, where his former team, all those storylines going into it. It could end up being a tough game on the inside for the Bulls, but I trust that the Bulls have enough, even without that, to really overcome anything that the Orlando Magic can throw at them. Vooch needs to show up big time in this game. Again, he needs to be, especially if he gets any mismatches or things like that. I do expect them to feed Vooch pretty early as well. Kobe White, probably going to be going back to the bench now. And, with that, Javonte Green is also out. I didn't mention that as all. He's also still lifted out with that abductor sprain or thing that he has going on. So Kobe White going back to the bench is going to be, for me, it's going to be fun to see Kobe out there with Lonzo, get to play off the ball with this improved just play that Kobe's been having lately. So I'm going to be looking for that, of course. We already know Io's been a key for us in many stretches, especially when this roster is a little bit more depleted. But who else steps up on this bench? Is it going to be Tony Bradley? Is it going to be Matt Thomas? We're going to need a contribution. We can't have another game where we only get 6 points off the bench. That's just not acceptable, especially not against a team like the Orlando Magic. I hope to see the bench try to kind of get in a little bit more rotation, but we will have Derrick Jones Jr., who is usually a bench player, probably starting tonight. So all those things going into it, what to look out for our Chicago Bulls. It kind of is what it is on that front of things, but we have to beat who's in front of us. The Bulls is a very, very positive vibe going around the team, as has been all season. It's good to see that people are taking more notice now because of just, you get back-to-back buzzer beaters, more people are going to be tuned in. The Bulls still don't have a nationally televised game again until we face Boston, I think, on the 12th. So that's going to be a game. Keep in mind, and the reason why I talk about things like this isn't because it necessarily matters to us as Bulls fans, but Bulls, listen, I'm telling you right now, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan on national TV, they know. They have that circle. They know what it means. They understand the chip on the shoulder and the nature of this team. On ESPN January 12th against Brooklyn that game is going to be amazing. That game comes to us next Wednesday, but not to look too far ahead. And that's one of the things. This Bulls team can't look too far ahead to Dallas and Boston. They have to make sure they're focused on who's in front of them because Washington's going to be looking for revenge. Already talked about Orlando coming up this week. It's going to be a lot of things like that, and we'll continue to watch it, monitor it, see what this team doesn't do. But I trust this team. We know the resiliency of this team. We know how hard this team has been playing all season. The next man up mentality, all of that. So we definitely want to focus on that as well. Also, on the injury report, I do want to talk about this just because he's becoming one of my guys, right? And I know a lot of people and commenters as well on this channel has really come around to Tyler Cook. Tyler Cook's listed still as a sprained ankle. So it's good that, a day or so later, it hasn't been like upgraded to anything else. A sprained ankle still can keep a player out sometimes 2 to 4 weeks. So depending on the severity of that sprain, I'm sure it's probably swollen at this point, waiting on that swelling to go down, seeing how his body responds to it and whatnot. But, not having Bradley, of course, Marco's never really gotten big minutes for us, but we don't even have Marco to go to if we were going to try to play him. I'm not sure what's going on with Ersan. Is Ersan still in health and safety? But with all that being said, to see how this team combats the lack of size that they have is going to be important to see how they play. We know Javonte Green's been great for us all season, right? Let's be clear. Javonte Green has been amazing for us. But the lack of size there and length in certain things does get to this team. So with that being said, to see how this team rebounds from that and counteracts the lack of size that they'll be having. Are they going to use speed? Are they going to use quickness, getting out in transition? Maybe we get back, especially now with Lonzo getting back to more turnovers and pushing the ball in transition, playing in those passing lanes. But we're gonna need big contributions from Troy Brown Jr., Matt Thomas. Like I said, Kobe's going back to the bench. He's probably going to be playing out of position some. Ayo Dosunmu as well. Do we finally see Jordan Bell as well? Be on the lookout for that. I was surprised we didn't see Jordan Bell in the second half against the Washington Wizards game. Do we see some of him just to see what he can give us? And he doesn't have the greatest length either, but he is 6'9", so to see what he can give us, if anything, is going to be key to look out for some of those things. Let me know what you're going to be looking out for in this Washington Wizards game. How do you feel about the Bulls rising up the power rankings? Do you still think it's too low at us being listed at number 3? And what do you expect from Lonzo Ball in his first game back in well over a week? Let me know what you guys think about all that down below. That's it for me today. If there are any updates, you guys know I'll be the first one to drop a new video or a new episode to update you on the new news going on with the Chicago Bulls. This is Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for all things Chicago Bulls related. Like I like to end every episode on, go Bulls. I love you guys. Peace.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.